Hey everybody, how you doing? Yeah,
Woo!
yeah. How about that one? I just can't keep doing this. Welcome to PHLY Flyers post game presented by Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. Joining me live in the Xfinity studio, it is Mr. Flyperbole, Steve Jaco. How about that one, Steve? Welcome back.
Yep, it's good to be back, bud. And what another fun-filled game of Flyers hockey tonight. Man, we had a good time. Between just another poor game, the fact that we're not going to have Charlie tonight, I'm going to have to speak slower than ever.
I'll tell you. Hey, Matvei Michkov scored a power play goal.
He sure did, bud.
Unfortunately, it was in the final 2 minutes, and it made the score 6-3.
Yes.
Well, yeah, 6-3 wasn't even how bad the game really was.
It's weird, too, because, like, if you think about, like, the fact that the 6 was an empty net goal, it's like, well, it's only 5. And, they took away a goal from the Flyers. Yeah. So you could really do some mental gymnastics if you wanted to try and remain positive. The fact of the matter is, the Flyers had another pretty lifeless game. I know they put up 36 shots, but, like, it does not feel like that at all. Boston they ran this game.
When you spot the opponent 2 goals, it's going to take a miracle to come back. They keep digging themselves these holes, Steve. For the 35th time through 53 games, the Philadelphia Flyers allowed the first goal. They give up the first 2. They give up the first 3. 66% of games. That is, they've allowed the first goal. They are now 2-8-2. Lost 10 of their last 12, but it's not just that. It's not just this little slump that they're in. We've been talking about the potential to make a playoff run for months now. They have now lost 11 straight games against Eastern Conference opponents. They are 0-9-2 in their last 11 against the East. You probably need to beat the teams you're in direct competition with in order to finish ahead of them in the standings.
You would think.
They are 1-9-4 in their last 14 games against the East. Their last win was 12-16 at Montreal.
Wow, that is just hilariously bad. And yeah, if you wanted to know if this team was a contender or a pretender, I think the answer is pretty obvious at this point. They're a pretender. And in some ways, it's good. It's good to kind of tear off the Band-Aid because the expectation coming into this season was a lot of people actually weren't expecting to make the playoffs. Playoffs would have been a nice little bonus, but it's like, I would always say this team is a wild card. It could finish anywhere from eking into the playoffs to finishing in the bottom 5 again. And it's trending towards that bottom 5 finish again all of a sudden after maybe bottom 6, 7, because the West has some really, really bad teams. But, it's good to at least see that maybe this team wasn't as good as we thought through the first half. I mean, it sucks. We want to see the playoffs. Like, I'm sick and I did this rant the other day after the Islanders game. I'm sick and tired of knowing about draft picks. I don't want to know anything about draft picks. I'm completely over it. But the Flyers just trade away the first round draft pick. I didn't have to think about it. It was great. But now we have to think about it every year. It is excruciating. We all wanted to make the playoffs, but it's hard to remain even somewhat positive. The vibes are they're abysmal. They're in the toilet right now. There are good things for the future, but you know what? Today's not a good day to think about that. Let's rant today.
Steve, I have tried to remain as if they can do this for several weeks, even in this skid, because, in pregame, I went through all of the streaks Boston has gone on, and it is very much, a win one, lose one kind of league. If you can just put together 4 or 5 in a row, build some momentum, win 10 out of 15, you're right back in it. With 3 games to go before the Olympic break and 29 games to go in the regular season, I'm calling it. That's it. They're done. They are out. And because of that, we are going to bring back a fan favorite segment. People have been calling for it in the chat for a couple of weeks now. I am waving the white flag. Woo! It's finally time.
Tank.
You see now, after their regulation loss tonight in Boston, the Flyers have fallen to that 10 spot, which magically The New York Islanders moved up to number 1 to get their franchise defenseman and one of the most exciting young players in hockey just a year ago. Without further ado,
Woo!
Brenna, spin that wheel!
Tankathon, tankathon, tankathon.
Didn't move. They stay at 10. Well, you know, a top 10 pick, even if it's 10, would be better than 12, which is what people are afraid of.
Let's keep
that
moving
12,
up.
That 12 to 14 range is where people really, really hate.
Well, you know, there's a lot of season left to lose, Bill. We're going to see what happens. It's just such a killer week because we really highlighted, like we dreaded last week in the West Coast. They actually had a great West Coast trip.
Yeah.
And coming into this week, we said, all right, this is a big week. If they can get wins over any combination of the Islanders, Blue Jackets, and Bruins, they're still looking pretty good. They're still in the hunt. Losing to the Islanders was huge. That really sucked. Like, the Islanders are the next team in front of them because they're looking more and more hopeless each day for those wild card spots. The Metro's really the only attainable playoff
The
spot.
2 or 3 seed in the Metro is the only way in at this point.
Yeah, and losing to the Islanders was a backbreaker. It really just was terrible. So then you're like, all right, maybe they bounce back against the Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets haven't been very good. Blue Jackets only a couple points back of the Flyers. Well, they blew it against the Blue Jackets. The only guys who showed up for that game were Dan Vladar and Travis Konecny. And then coming in tonight, you're like, all right, let's salvage something. The Bruins have been good, but they're not an unbeatable team. And the Flyers did it again. Travis Konecny, yet again, pretty much the main guy who showed up on offense. Nikita Grebenkin was a big part of this game. They were on a line together, coincidentally enough. So, like, it just... TK is doing what he can to keep this team in competition, but they just look so out of sorts. Nothing is right now. When it rains, it pours, and it is pouring, baby.
And you just go back to that Western trip. They win 2 out of 3. They get 5 out of 6 points. And then you looked at what they had coming. Like you said, okay, the Isles, direct competition. Columbus below you in the standings. You're hoping to get 2 points there. Boston, all right, say we've won 4 out of 5. Maybe we can get a point against Boston. Then you have 3 straight home games coming up now. This is what's left before the break. The Kings, and then 2 East games. The Caps, who are having a disappointing season, and the Sens, who are, you know, also having a very disappointing season. You could have gone into the break with some serious momentum. Instead, you S the bed, and you leave me with no choice. I have really tried. I have really, really tried. Now, say they win the next 3, it will be unmoving to me. It will be unmoving to me because you know what will happen? They'll go into the break, they'll come out, and they'll lose the first 3. This is just, I know where they are. It was okay, let's see what they can do kind of season. That's why Danny and Jonesy said before the season, yeah, playoffs would be cool, but we're just hoping to see some signs of improvement. We're trying to put this group on the ice and see where they are. The result is where they are isn't close to good enough. And I really thought at one point they were. By good enough, I mean, you look at what the East is, they're not that much different from 2/3 of the teams in the conference. If you can get in that 2 or 3 spot in the division, even getting in, even winning the first round, and then seeing how it goes against Carolina or something, like, it was a possibility.
Sure.
Now, I really don't see a path for this team as currently constituted unless all of a sudden we wake up after the break and Matvei Michkov is who we thought he was going to be coming into this season. If Trevor Zegras finds his game again, if Dan Vladar takes it to even another level, if TK can score every single game, like maybe, but
TK's the only guy who's really clicking right now. And one of the things I noticed tonight is all of the Flyers' major weaknesses were fully on display tonight. Namely, the goaltending. Sam Ersson, another bad game, and I know the defense didn't do him any favors, but the dude's letting up 5 whole goals. He's letting up ones that Brian Boucher, who is usually pretty generous with some of this stuff, Boucher is saying that these are goals that Sam Ersson would like back.
Maybe the best analysis of the season, the very first Boston goal, Brian Boucher goes, I don't know. You would think that would just hit him. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And
the man's
listen,
a poet.
Sam Ersson was not good tonight. He made some big saves. He also let up some easy goals. I'm kind of done. We'll talk about him a little bit later, but I am moving on from Ersson.
The goaltending was a problem for sure, but then also
there's so many other things went wrong.
But the other thing that I thought was really on display tonight was the lack of offense that they get at the center position. They have lots of guys who are very good defensively at center. Well, I don't even know if I can say very good at this point, but they have guys that they're better at defense than offense at center. But the lack of a big body, the lack of guys who can score at center was really on display tonight. Sean Couturier on the fourth line. Noah Cates continues to not really do anything offensively. And Trevor Zegras finally gets another shot at center and did not impress.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. On the other side, we are going to talk about tonight's game changer, and it is a player I want to spend a decent amount of time on. That's why I want to take this break a little early so we can get a lot of conversation about this next guy in, but we got to take that first break. It's time to tell you about Xfinity, because I got to ask, what if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? Well, that's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense, and that lets you stream the game even when the whole family's online. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. There's no annual contract, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment is always included. Take it from me, a lot can change in 5 years. Championships are won, records are broken. We hate contracts. Well, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable, and the price should stay put. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Go Birds. If you're in the market for a Chevy, you got to check out Elkin Chevrolet, because Elkin Chevrolet is run by 3 brothers, real brothers, who are local guys, and yup, they're big Flyers fans, so you know they're loyal. And if you've been watching this season, you know what kind of hockey it's been. Nothing's easy, working hard for every inch of the ice. That's how these guys run their business too, with hard work. And right now, Elkin Chevrolet has a big inventory of new Chevy trucks and SUVs, the stuff people around here actually want to drive, and their price to move. No games, no runaround. You come in, you get a straight answer and a great price. Whether you're heading to the game, heading to work, or just trying to get home after a long day, they'll get you into the right ride at the right price. And this isn't a one and done place. These are the guys you go back to because they treat you right. Elkin Chevrolet, real brothers, real deals, and a whole lot of honkin' good service. Located on Route 73 South in Marlton, New Jersey, Elkin Chevrolet. Together, let's drive and let's go Flyers. And speaking of Elkins, it's time for tonight's game changer, driven by Elkin Chevrolet. Elkin Chevy, together, let's drive. I really want to spend time talking about Nikita Grebenkin here for a number of reasons. You see the 5 shots on goal. He scores the goal, doesn't get an assist on the TK goal, but his drive and shot and following the rebound and the hit he laid in the corner made the entire thing happen. He played probably his best game as a Flyer tonight. I think he was the best player on the ice in orange and black tonight. His goal, with 55 seconds left in the second period, was Philly's first non-Travis Konecny goal since Michkov's empty netter in Colorado. That is 162 minutes and 12 seconds. He broke the streak. That first period, you could really tell Grebenkin had some jump. He had 2 shots. He created the play that should have been the Flyers' first goal by driving the net. Just some bad luck there. He takes the puck to the net. His stick gets caught up in Swayman. Dvorak punches it home, but upon further review, no.
That was, by the way, extremely BS-y. I don't know. I saw Jackie Spiegel disagreed with it. I know the broadcast disagreed with it. I know I disagreed with it. And that right there is a game changer in and of itself, because that's a huge momentum shift.
Yeah, he created the goal that made it 3-1, the TK goal. He had a few rushes, just like picking off a pass or grabbing a loose puck to get it down the other end a few times. Gets rewarded with a goal, finally scores one after TK got denied.
He was noticeable in a way that he hasn't been all season.
Yes.
So it was great to see. I thought he worked really well with Travis Konecny. So, Bill, considering that he was so good in this game, you'd think he would have gotten, a lot of ice time, right?
Well, through 2 periods, He had played 8 minutes and 10 seconds, and this to me is just really, really negligent by whoever is determining who gets to go out on the ice, whether it's the assistants, whether it's Rick, whether they're just making it up on the fly on the bench themselves. This was a back-to-back.
13:43 total.
Total.
You only get 3 more minutes when the team was down.
That was late because through 50 minutes, he had only played 10 minutes and 1 second. If you want to know how many guys through 5/6 of the game had played less than him, none of the forwards. I haven't even looked at D-man TOI, but just based on the position, I would guess it's the fewest of anyone on the team.
Yeah, Noah Juleson ends up with 13:35, so just around where Grebenkin was, just a hair below.
This was a back-to-back. You know the boys are tired. You have Grebenkin up with Dvorak, your 1C, and TK, who has been your only good player for the last couple of games. He's got his legs. Really, really strong first period. Through 50 minutes, he only plays 10 minutes. He only played 10-16 the night before. He might be the freshest guy on the ice outside of Delorier and Hathaway, who didn't play last night. How does, and like I realize like the individual game TOI thing can get annoying and we get too much into the minutia, but this was not a game where, oh, well, he doesn't kill penalties. The Flyers were not on the PK a ton tonight for the first time in a while. They only took 1 penalty, so you can't blame it on that. They only had 3 power plays, and 1 was at the very end of the game when Michkov scored. It's not like anything else took the time away. You had a 4th line consisting of 2 guys who you'd rather not put out on the ice, and the 4C who has now gone 26 straight games without a goal. Who was this ice time going to? He was your best player, and you couldn't figure out a way to get him on the ice until the final 5 minutes of the game when it was over.
Well, I can tell you who it wasn't going to. Matvei Michkov, who got 12:49 on the night, which is sandwiched between Garnet Hathaway and Nick Delorier. I don't really understand what Tocchet was doing. The lines were a complete mess tonight. You were pointing out to me that Boston's one of the bigger teams in the league, and tonight was the night that Tocchet decides, you know what? I'm going to start Trevor Zegras in the middle of Matvei Michkov and Bobby Brink. And listen, in theory, that sounds fun, but in execution, it was not. And a lot of that was because they didn't have a big body in the middle to really help them clear the way. Trevor Zegras doesn't have his usual Christian Dvorak to help him out. And we were just seeing Brink and Michkov kind of get bullied and pushed to the fringes there. I cannot wait for Porter Martone. I can't wait for some big bodies to get here and help the Flyers start pushing these guys out of the way. But Grebenkin is a big, fast body, and he actually really thrived tonight.
And that is what annoyed me about this. Not only was he their best player, not only did he create like their first 3 goals, even though 1 didn't count. He's 6'2", 210. He's one of the biggest guys on the team. This was the player you needed on the ice tonight if you were going to make this a game. And listen, I realize that line, they give up I think it's the second goal. Yeah, it's the second goal. TK and Dvorak somehow just like don't break up a play in the middle of the ice, and the puck just gets on a dude's stick in the slot. And like, how? You were both there. Okay, so they made that defensive mistake, and maybe when we go back and watch, we'll see other little stuff, but I don't think I noticed another player in this game. Maybe Owen Tippett. Owen Tippett made some plays tonight.
Owen Tippett ended up with a lot of shots.
He had like 7 shots or something.
He had 7 shots. And Konecny was noticeable because
that line is the only line that showed up tonight that I noticed on a consistent basis. Like halfway through the game, I'm thinking, like, did they turn off line changes and settings? I don't think I've heard another forward's name tonight. Like, this baffles me. And Nikita Grebenkin, you get game changer because 1, you really tried your best to. Like that hit that set up the TK goal was huge. I realized it was a disappointment, but he made the play to create the overturned goal. He scores 1 himself. How aren't you finding ice time for this guy? And I know there have been times this season where he's gotten a chance in the top 9, maybe doesn't earn another game in that role. We have seen him flash in spurts when given that opportunity. When he's out there with Abels and Hathaway, it was like, well, what the hell is he supposed to do? This was his breakout performance. We've been waiting for it for 50 games. And you go, yeah, I'm not really going to play him that much.
Yeah, I don't really understand a lot of the deployment tonight, especially when you consider, as you said, they weren't on special teams a ton. They get 3 power plays, one of which was late when it was garbage time. They're only on the penalty kill once. I don't understand what Rick Tocchet was doing, and I know this was kind of a desperation game for him to get the team back on track, but yeah, just looking at these numbers, it doesn't make sense. You got to get Grebenkin out there when he's clicking this much, but kudos to Nikita Grebenkin for getting out there and seeing an opportunity to play with the top line and really embracing it.
And now the disappointment is he played a great game, first line, left wing, even though he didn't get first line ice time. He absolutely played like a first liner tonight. At least on this team. When we just went 162 minutes in between anyone scoring a goal not named TK, he absolutely played like a first liner for this team tonight. And the disappointment is the Zegras center experiment went so poorly. Well, guess who's going to come back into the top 9?
Oh,
Sean Couturier,
100%.
which kicks Zegras back over to wing. And now a wing spot disappears, and Grebenkin is back to the 4th line, where he will be deployed with guys who just aren't very good.
Yeah.
So we're not going to even get a chance to see a repeat performance of this unless Rick Tocchet really surprises me, which I'm not counting on.
I mean, if anything, he'll probably just bump Matvei Michkov to the 4th line.
Yeah, I was
to see Twitter burn.
Honestly, just thinking, well, you know what? He's got a chance to stay in the top 9 if he just says, you know what, screw it. It's Michkov. He's going to the 4th line.
At this point, it wouldn't surprise me because, like, even when Michkov makes strides, he doesn't seem to like him. And who cares anymore? Let's just tank out for the rest of the year, get a draft pick, and move on. Because I'm sick of it also. I'm sick of it. This team was doing good, and then they just completely have pooped the sheets over the past few weeks. It sucks to watch. It's just terrible hockey. But hey, man, Grebenkin at least was one silver lining for the night.
We said pregame these lines were weird. Some of them scared us. Some of them interested us. But we wanted to see how it would play out. We wanted to see who would step up, who would find chemistry on a newly formed line. Dvorak, TK, and Grebenkin did that. Yeah. So I want to give him the game changer. And I just want to say I want to see more Nikita Grebenkin. I don't know who gets bumped if what I assume is going to happen next game happens and Sean Couturier is back at 3C and Zegras is back over at left wing with Dvorak and TK. But I just don't see how you demote a guy after the game he just had, but I also don't see how you only play him for 10 minutes in the first 50 minutes of the game.
I just don't understand anything about this game. I really don't.
This bothered me. And like, this is not on the coach tonight's game. They didn't play well enough. The goalie wasn't good enough, and we're going to talk about him in just a second. Again, only one line out of your 4 showed up. Delorier did have like 11 hits or something tonight, so at least he did his job.
Delorier was having
9 hits for Delorier, 7 for Hathaway, 5 for Coots. So they went out there and hit.
They did hit for sure, and
nobody did anything except for that line.
Right. Well, three shots on goal for Nick Delorier tonight, because that's the guy you want taking those high quality shots tonight.
That line actually did okay. They had 8 total shots on goal for them. So,
they did all right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe keep that together because it wasn't bad.
But like, they didn't do anything.
I mean, they're not gonna score.
Right.
Hathaway has 1 goal this year. D'Lo has none, and Coots hasn't scored since December 7th.
I feel like the biggest problem out of this is the fact that you've now tried Zegras a couple times at center, and it really has not worked.
Yeah.
And that really sucks, because part of the excitement when you traded for Trevor Zegras is Trevor Zegras always said that he thought of himself as a center, and he wanted to play center, and he's gotten a couple chances. Granted, it hasn't been consecutive games. And I do think at some point, especially if this starts to go down the drain a little bit, you gotta give him like multiple games in a row trying it out, because you can't really build into a groove. But if I'm just basing this on what I've seen so far, it's a disappointment, because he really doesn't look like he's a center. He looks like he's a wing, and the Flyers have good wings. So it's like, yeah, I really like what he did in the first half of the season for the most part, and it was a very good wing, but I really don't think, based on what I've seen, that he's actually a center.
Well, speaking of things that disappointed us tonight, Sam Ersson. Sam Ersson only lasted 2 periods, and then Vladar came in relief after Ersson left the game with an injury following the second period. He appears to be a lower body, and we know how that goes with him. Could be a little while. And that you would think it would just hit him continues to crack me up. Like the first goal, like I don't know, man. The second goal, I'm gonna blame on Dvorak and Konecny more than him. It's a slot chance that should have never got there. Fine. The third goal, it's 5-hole from the outside, like left wing, far side of the hash mark. Stop it, man. Like, make a save. It wasn't a blast. This wasn't a snipe.
Yeah.
Like, and after that, I just wrote, whatever. I don't care anymore. He is what he is.
Yeah.
So he finishes 15 of 20 for a 750. I don't care if they were all breakaways. You can't give up 5 goals on 20 shots.
Yeah, you can't give up 5 goals on 20 shots. The save percentage is garbage yet again. And it's those 5-hole goals. It's the ones from just like funny little angles. Like he just lets up too many weak goals ultimately. There's always like, he'll make an incredible save. There were a couple times he made incredible saves. So you know the talent is there, but he just can't do it consistently. And we're all tired of talking about it, but it's a factor. Because if Dan Vladar starts this game after being rusty in the last game, the Flyers have a much better chance at winning this game with Dan Vladar in net than they do with Sam Ersson. And this is part of the reason this team is falling out of the playoff race, is not having a good enough backup goaltender. Believe me, there's a lot of factors to be included
Certainly.
here. And we're going to get into them all tonight. But like the goaltending being what it is, letting up these weak goals is a huge factor because it deflates the team. You know, when you're down 2-0 before you blink, and then you could almost finish 2-1 in the first period, but then it gets taken back. And then before you know it, it's 3-1, and then it's 4-1. And it just really deflates you. And we got to see that yet again. Sam Ersson, like, we're going to have to deal with him for the rest of the year. So we're going to have a lot more of these conversations. But I really think this is one of the things the Flyers desperately need to address in the offseason is a way to move on from Ersson, because I think we're all done.
There might still be something there with Kolosov, so I guess I don't want to throw him to the wolves this way. But I have reached the Morgan Frost point. Like we talked, I don't remember if it was on or off the air pregame. Like Rasmus Ristolainen, I'm done. I'm just done. I don't care anymore. I don't even think of him as like part of the team. He's just a guy that we're going to keep talking about until they finally figure out a way to trade him. I'm done with Sam Ersson. I'm waving the white flag on the season. You know what? If they are going into tank mode, let's see Kolosov. Maybe it's not the best thing in the world for his development. I just don't want to watch Sam Ersson anymore.
I'm not even sure I care about Kolosov's development at this point. I almost want to let him sink or swim at this point too, because
maybe
I don't know, because I've had higher hopes in the guys like Bjarnason and Zavragin, who, you know, the younger guys who I feel like have a brighter future ahead of them. Kolosov, I haven't liked what I've seen for sure, but like, I don't know. I kind of want to see what he has. It's kind of depressing in that regard. It's extremely depressing because Ersson and Kolosov are the two in line here for this backup position. It doesn't make any sense for this team to trade at this point for another backup. Don't spend assets on that. It's just stupid. And man,
and it's very frustrating because, like, you look at what this schedule's going to be out of the Olympic break. They're going to play so many games in a very, very short period of time. I think I did the math, and it's a game like one every 1.6 days or something. Like, so many. You're going to need the backup. And
this team looks exhausted when they've played less games than most of the other teams. So how are they going to look when they have to play a bunch of these games in a short period of time to play catch up to those other teams? I'm really terrified of that stretch. I might quit before then, Bill, because I really don't want to do post games for those.
And Dan Vladar, the last start he made just last night was his 29th of the season, tying his career high. And he comes into the game tonight. That gives him 30 appearances. That is also a career high. So he will have a career high in both games played and starts as soon as, when's the next game? Saturday afternoon?
Saturday afternoon,
yeah.
It's going to be good. So that'll be nice and early in the day. We can still enjoy our nights. That'll be nice.
At least maybe because of the break. Like, because now you're entering uncharted territory with Dan Vladar, and he has represented himself very well this year. He's having a career season on top of the career workload. Maybe having 19 days in between games allows him to like rest and not feel the wear and tear of the first, 32 starts he's going to make probably.
And he came into the third tonight and looked really good.
He did.
If they were closer in that game, he settles them down nicely and they have a chance, but they weren't.
I really thought after the third goal there was a chance.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because he's just coming back from injury and he just played last night. But, like, man, if you wanted to give your team a chance to win this game, Taka did this a few games ago. Remember, he didn't pull the goalie right away. But then when the Flyers scored, it was like, okay, we can make this a game. I thought when they make it 3-1, and it was kind of quickly, we go, oh, okay, let's do it now. And he didn't, and I get it. Again, Vladar, first start after missing 6 straight games just last night, coming back from injury. Maybe you don't want a guy playing back-to-backs, but if you wanted a chance to win, it wasn't going to be with Sam Ersson.
Yeah.
And again, everyone else wasn't good tonight outside of the one line, but, like,
they
give
have
the guys
a chance
chance
to win if he can just stop a basic 5-hole goal, though. Like, it's just the sloppy goals like that really make me mad, because I know the guy has talent, and letting up goals like that just show me who he is. Those are basic goals. Like, if Brian Boucher's out here saying that you should be stopping that, believe me, the man knows what he's talking about. He's got some experience in that regard. So if Boucher's out here saying that, I 100% trust his word on that. I was thinking that as somebody who knows nothing about goaltending. I know nothing about goaltending. I will admit that to people. But I know I've seen enough lousy goals to know what a lousy goal is. And a couple of these goals were real lousy tonight.
When it not only beats you 5-hole, but, like, kind of squirts through, like, it's not clean. He didn't trick you.
Yeah.
You just, he just didn't close quite. That's a bad goal every time, man. I don't know how else to say it. All right, on the other side, we're going to tell you about tonight's unsung hero, but we got to take our second break. All right, everybody, listen up. I got to tell you how I start my day each and every morning. I start at my Wawa. Now, this might be an ad read, but I think everyone watching right now has to know how much I love Wawa. And now, Wawa's giving us yet another reason to love them. It's the $5 Big Breakfast Deal. For just $5, you can get any Sizzly breakfast sandwich, any size hot or iced coffee, plus a hash brown every morning from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's right, a breakfast Sizzly, a coffee, and a hash brown for just $5 from your local Wawa. That's value, that's convenience, and that's deliciousness all together in one deal. And while you're picking up your coffee, check out the brand new Caramel Chocolate Craze coffee flavors. You can try caramel, you can try chocolate, or you can mix both together for a sweet treat that will start your morning off right. The $5 Big Breakfast Deals for a limited time and exclusions apply. See Wawa.com for details. No need to overthink breakfast. Just grab, go, and get on your day with Wawa. Gotta have a Wawa. All right, it's time to tell you about Monarch. You know, this April, my wife and I, we are going to Italy for a big wedding for one of our friends, so we have to save up to do it. And Monarch is here to help us. Managing your money doesn't have to be a struggle this year. Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool designed to make your life easier. It's my go-to for a New Year's financial reset, reviewing spending from over the holidays, setting fresh budgets, and getting ready for 2026. With automated weekly money recaps and tracking progress towards future financial goals, it's easier than ever to stay financially fit in the short and long term. And it's helped users save over $200 per month on average after joining. This new year, achieve your financial goals for good. Monarch is the all-in-one tool that makes proactive money management simple all year long. Use code PHLY at monarch.com for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code PHLY. The best show tonight is happening during the breaks. Just to let you know.
I'm sorry that you can't.
I'm sorry. You know, we have bosses now. It's it's the way it is. All right. And now it's time.
Sorry, the adults.
Now it's time for the unsung hero presented by Togo. Togo, the leader in operations outsourcing. Let Togo handle the work that gets in the way of your work. You call the plays, we execute. Togo. Even though he scored a goal and picked up another assist tonight, I'm giving this to Travis Konecny because it's not just the production, but simply he is the anchor, the best player on the only line that showed up in a back-to-back, a game in which the team had a flight delay. They didn't get until 4 a.m. He scored a hat trick last night. They were the only 3 goals the team scored. He scored their first goal tonight. He has 7 goals in his last 7. And he was a game-time decision. He got injured. Well, he got hurt last night. He took a puck off the foot. He was obviously laboring last night. Tocchet post-game said, don't know if he's going to play. He's limping around. And he comes out, and he's one of the only effective players tonight. A goal and an assist gets them going. I have to give it to TK, not just because of the production, but because we have been talking the last few games in the last week or so about this team's leadership and the idea of, all right, maybe they're not all the most vocal guys. Maybe they're not calling each other out in the locker room the way Tocchet would like them to. You have a bunch of lead by example guys. TK led by example again. And yes, first period, the second goal, that's on him and Dvorak. Sure. One mistake. But they're also they essentially scored 3 times tonight. Like,
Everybody was making mistakes.
I don't know how else. And it really, we can actually talk about the overturned goal right after this. But
yeah,
it really bothered me, the overturned goal. Many of you know I am a huge 311 fan. They play 311 down in the arena. Oh TK's line appears to have scored right after. I was jazzed, had my tweets all ready to go, and then they take it away. Honestly, that should have been my sign. This isn't going to be your night, Bill.
Amber was no longer the color of your energy, my friend. Yeah, I'm actually, of all the things I'm upset about, I'm really upset about on the skid that the team is letting down Konecny so much for the effort he's had. He's been fantastic, and this team has just been crap. It just is so upsetting to see a guy put forth an effort like he has and not have any backup on it. And yeah, we've gotten a lot of, understandably angry super chats recently, and some specifically calling out Sean Couturier's leadership and everything. What people are looking for when they're looking for leadership by example is what Travis Konecny's been doing. I think about the Vegas game. Only goal scorer for the Flyers in that game. They win 2-1, 2 Travis Konecny goals unassisted. That is leading by example right there. What he did tonight, what he did last night. He scores a hat trick. Nobody else does anything. And the Flyers almost win because Travis Konecny scores that hat trick. This is what leaders do. He's wearing that A for a reason. He might wear that C in the future if Sean Couturier, they can never figure out the way out of those weeds. And we love Coots. Don't get me wrong. The guy
I am appreciative of what he scored, a playoff hat trick. I think he had 5 or 6 points that game on a torn MCL. I will always appreciate what Coots is.
Yeah.
It's just it appears to be over.
It does not look good for old Cootsy over there. And we all know it. We all know it. It sucks, but we know it.
So the Flyers end up with 36 shots in the game, but 15 of them are in the third period when it's essentially over. Through 40 minutes tonight, through the first 2 periods, Flyers had 21 shots on goal. 9 of them from the Grebenkin, Dvorak, Konecny line, essentially half.
Half, yeah.
And one gets taken away because the goal that gets taken away obviously doesn't count as a shot.
Yeah.
So they had 10 of 22. It's just very frustrating when you have, these guys brought it. They absolutely brought it tonight. Where was everybody else? Well, the answer is nowhere to be found. No. And that's why, even though he led the team in ice time, at least amongst the forwards, he had 4 or 5 shots on goal, 5 shots on goal. Yeah, 17-31 TOI, led all forwards. He's still the unsung hero because I really, really appreciate the way he has shown up the last 2 nights, and he has been let down.
He's been let down, and it's been the past couple weeks. He's just done so much for this team, and they are not giving him anything, and it sucks to see. And, man, that overturned goal was such a backbreaker in this game because if they get that goal, it's 2-1, and if Boston loses that challenge, the Flyers get a power play. So who knows what happens there? Probably not scoring because it's the Flyers, but you never know. Anytime you have that man advantage, there's a possibility. So, if they tie the game up there, that's a completely different game. But as you know, they didn't, and they lost bad. That's the Flyers for you.
It's the way this stretch has gone, losing 10 of their last 12 and 11 straight to Eastern Conference opponents.
And that'll take you out of the playoff race right there.
Now, listen, we are obviously not pleased with the way things are going for the Philadelphia Flyers. But on Sunday, we get to kind of just forget about the results and celebrate the organization and get together for a good cause at the Flyers Charities Carnival. It is always a good time, regardless of what is going on in the standings. And hey, man, maybe you want to get yourself a sign and snap with TK and tell him appreciate the effort, even though, the season's going the way it's going. I'm going to be in the dunk tank at this carnival, 2:45 to 3 p.m., and it is free, so you can come on out and dunk me. Just all you need is a general admission ticket, and you can come dunk me.
And you don't have to worry about drying your hair anymore.
No, I don't. That's the easiest. That was like a difficult part of doing the dunk tank, is I'm just covered in hair. No longer. But it's Sunday, February 1st. This coming Sunday, we're going to have our live show from 11 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. right there on the concourse. Awesome guests lined up. You see the list there. I can't wait to talk to Simmons and Bush in particular.
That is a killer lineup. Yeah, I am so jealous. Like everybody on there. It's just,
I'm really looking forward to this.
I love talking to Jim Jackson personally. Like every time I've talked to him,
he is the best guest.
The best guest. He will talk to you forever and a day.
No, like if you request 20 minutes with him, he'll give you 45.
Like I will forever be grateful to him, because when I first started doing this crazy podcasting thing, like over a decade ago.
What a mistake you made.
I made a huge mistake. When I was doing Flyers Faithful, very like low production thing. I had no idea what I was doing. And Jim Jackson came on as a guest, talked to me for over an hour. Had no idea who I was. Still has no idea who I am. He shouldn't. But talked to me for over an hour just because he's so kind and generous with that. Just the absolute most genuine, nicest guy in the business. Just love JJ.
All right, it is now time to talk about that Trevor Zegras, Matvei, Michkov, Bobby Brink line.
Do we have to?
It didn't go great.
No.
I just brought up the natural stat trick numbers. Listen, I don't think you need any advanced analytics to see how this went. For instance, Trevor Zegras won 1 of 12 faceoffs.
Is that good?
For 8%. That's very bad.
Oh.
But
news
overall,
to me. I thought you were supposed to lose the faceoffs and get in a position.
So this line, at 5-on-5, the Zegras-Michkov Brink line played 8 minutes and 45 seconds together at 5-on-5. Shot attempts, they were outshot attempted 14-4. Total actual shots on goal, 5-0. They did allow 1 goal, didn't score any, obviously, and accounted for under 13% of the expected goals when they were on the ice.
Yeah, I don't think that one's happening.
This went real bad, and
well, I was noting this earlier, Bill. Like Brink and Michkov, they're both talented guys, right? They're both guys who have good vision for the ice and everything, and they can be creative with the puck. The problem is neither of them have pretty good size, and the Bruins are a big team, so when they were together, they were just shoving them to the side. They were just bullying those guys around there. And Trevor Zegras, it's just too many cooks in the kitchen here. Too many guys who are too skilled. You need somebody to go in there, and sadly, unfortunately, it might be Sean Couturier, but like, you know what I really want to see? I want to see Matvei Michkov back with Denver Barkey. That power play goal they score late in the game, Barkey passes it across the crease to Michkov, who gets the slam dunk. I like what I've seen with those guys. And I know Barkey's not a big guy, but Barkey plays bigger than he is. He's a guy who can maybe make some space with his body a little bit, which is what I think Michkov needs. I think Brink needs that too. I think they're guys that just need a little bit of room to work, and a guy like Barkey can give you that. I'm hoping in the future Porter Martone can give you that. And you know what I was really missing tonight? Tyson Foerster.
Man.
A game like this, Tyson Foerster would be such a game changer because he was a big body who could utilize that, make some space, and he had a killer shot.
So I'm not going to make excuses for that line. Again, like if you're going to put them together, like my idea, everyone's idea, this was not a unique thing to me. When we saw Zegras initially, it was like, put him with Michkov and Foerster. It's perfect, you know? Well, obviously Tyson Foerster not an option now. Tippett, pretty big. He's been very physical this year. Maybe he's an option in that. Maybe Grebenkin is an option there. Again, 6'2", 210. You put him with Bobby Brink, who's like the second smallest guy on the team because, you know, Denver Barkey's a very little guy.
Yeah.
The Boston Bruins are the heaviest team in the league, according to Elite Prospects. 207 pounds, a couple kilograms bigger than the Leafs. By average height, they are the 5th tallest team by a handful of centimeters. They're all like 6'2", but there's a little bit of difference here and there. They're the biggest team in the league. Maybe Zegras with Michkov and Brink, this wasn't the night to put them together. And if those two especially are going to be able to play together, they're going to have to do it against everybody. And sometimes you're going to play big teams. I get it. Maybe this wasn't the right combination for this opponent.
It definitely wasn't, because they did not play well together against this opponent. Try it again at some point, especially if this is how the rest of the season is going to go, because you got to try stuff. You got to see what works, because if they are not going to make the playoffs, and it's increasingly looking like they're not going to, you need to spend the rest of the season doing serious evaluation, because you've got some big decisions to make, namely Trevor Zegras, who is an RFA at the end of the season. You got to think about Trevor Zegras. You got to think about what your next step is in building this team towards contention. Because I keep saying the name Porter Martone, and that's my big silver lining for the future, because he is a big body who is immensely skilled. He is going to be fantastic on this team. But what are you going to do to support him coming in? Because you do need to take a step, because this fan base is frustrated. This fan base is mad as heck. The Flyers sent out their season ticket holder letter earlier today, and it mentioned being a competitive team for the playoffs and stuff like that. And, well, we just looked at those standings. It's not looking too good for making those playoffs. So what is the next step?
Yeah, and the Flyers now, by way of, I think, regulation overtime tiebreakers with Toronto, are the second to last team in the Eastern Conference. That's crazy that they're 10th in Tankathon standings. And
the West has
so many. That's the thing
the
about
West
the West.
has all the best and all the worst.
The West has a bunch of great teams and then a bunch of just absolute garbage, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's just...
The West has, at the very bottom, the Canucks have 39 points, the Blues have 47, the Flames have 48, the Jets have 49, and then it's the Rangers with 50.
All right, on the other side, we're going to hit your super chats. I'm going to do 3 stars because Charlie's not here and somebody has to.
There's no stars.
Yeah, there's no stars. It's a cloudy night here in Philadelphia. But we got to take our final break. You've got to channel the fresh start energy of the new year and finally launch your business with Shopify. 2026 is the year you rewrite your story, own your future, and make your entrepreneurial dreams come true. Start your business with Shopify in 2026 and become who you're meant to be. Shopify gives you everything you need to sell online and in person. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made this leap, from household names to first-time business owners just getting started. Shopify gives you all the tools to easily build your dream store. Choose from hundreds of beautiful templates that you can customize to match your brand, and marketing is built in too. Create email and social campaigns that reach customers whenever they scroll. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/allcity. Go to shopify.com/allcity. That's shopify.com/allcity. Hear your first this new year with Shopify by your side. Philly sports fans, you gotta listen up, because it is the season of gifting, and if you're looking for something truly unforgettable this year, I've got the perfect gift idea. You've got to check out the incredible work from Philadelphia sports artist Jordan Spector over at SpectorSportsArt.com. I personally own a few of his pieces myself, and trust me, these aren't just posters you hang on the wall. These are museum-level artworks of the greatest moments and icon in Philly sports history. His collections come in prints, canvases, and even athlete-partnered trading cards. And get this, one of the newest cards actually includes a piece of Brandon Graham's real game-worn jersey from that matchup in New Orleans. You know, that big one against Kansas City. It doesn't get any more authentic than that. So if you've got a diehard sports fan in your life, or you just want to treat yourself, this is the kind of gift they'll talk about forever. So head over right now to SpectorSportsArt.com. That's SpectorSportsArt.com, and grab something epic for the Philly fan in your life. And with that, it's time for Charlie O'Connor's 3 stars of the game. Charlie's at some hipster concert tonight. I don't even know if you could call that kind of, like, no, like, we're in our 30s. Like, that's not who we are anymore.
It's some indie rock.
Yeah, just some cool thing I don't know
cool
about.
Thing I know nothing about. Yeah. I'm old and lame.
If it wasn't,
I listened to the same like 10 bands from the 90s.
If it wasn't playing in my buddy's car in 2005, I'm probably not listening to it.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. Star number 3. One period of action stopped all 6 shots. It's Dan Vladar.
Yay!
Way to go, Danny.
Dan.
None of the
he's
goals
our
were
man.
on you. The third period goal that was allowed was the empty netter. He came in and did his job. He is the only guy who is blameless tonight.
He didn't do anything wrong in my eyes.
So he gets to be one of the 3 stars despite 1946 of actual ice time. Could you believe they actually attempted to pull the goalie in this game?
That was hysterical to me. It was almost as funny as the fact that actually it was funnier that they immediately let up the empty net goal. Like as soon as they pulled him, the Bruins got the puck, flipped it down the ice, and scored it. We were like, what?
It's 5-2 at the time, and like, what were you gonna do? Anyway,
Like we were wrapping up. We were like doing like a stretch. Like, all right, it's time to hit the studio.
yeah, I'm like finishing instant reactions, and all of a sudden it was like they did what?
I'm like making tea. Like
Whatever.
Oh, what? What are you
But
doing?
yeah, Vladdy, you are star number 3. Star number 2, it's TK. 1 goal, 1 assist. I very much appreciate the effort, TK.
Yeah.
You're one of the few guys out there that I'm like, all right, way to go, bro. Good for him. And finally, star number 1, it is Nikita Grebenkin. 1 goal, 5 shots, 1 hit. Basically created 3 potential scores, I guess. 2 of them actually counted. But I thought Grebenkin was the Flyers' best player tonight, as I said during Game Changer. And it holds true for 3 stars. So, what the hell else were we going to do?
What the hell else are we gonna do? And hey, if you had to highlight 3 Flyers, those are the guys. Woohoo!
I keep having to refer to that goalie interference, and I think the thing that annoys me most about it, it's like one of those, we know it's wrong, but based on the rule, and it's not even like, oh, they're out to get us, it's inevitable, things are going wrong for the Flyers. It's just like, based on the rule, I get it, but it shouldn't be.
Yeah, it just seems like, especially, I don't know, it just seems like if I'm being old school here, I don't care. It just seems like weak. It seems like a weak call. It's like, come on, like, you barely did anything to you. That's not really interference.
John
And just because
LeClaire,
Swayman just threw a fit.
John LeClaire would have scored 50 career goals if these were the rules.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, every slap shot would have counted, but the rest, and like, who the hell knows what was going on in front of the net when they ripped those shots,
Oh,
you know?
God,
like,
yeah.
Lindros and Renberg just like wreaking havoc, going to war. Like, you know, like,
Keith Jones?
They would have, Jonesy would have 0 career goals. He would not be the president if these were the rules.
That's true. That's true. Brick Talkett.
Yeah, and Rick, exactly. Power forward. Like, Wayne Simmons. I can't wait to talk to Wayne and ask him what he thinks of that one. Maybe that'll
please do.
come up on
Please
Sunday.
do.
All right, let's get to your super chats. Not nearly as many as the 18 we had last night, but we appreciate that as well.
And that's not a request.
Let's get to this. It's Obi-Wan leads it off with a very long boo.
Ooh.
This wasn't even, I guess, because this is the game that finally broke me.
I feel like you broke 2 weeks ago, were put to get back together somewhat, and you've been rebroken.
The Mammoth game was such a disappointment to me. I said I would shave my head if they won the next game, and they did. And ever since then, they haven't. Should I start wearing a wig? Like, maybe I need to go Wayne's World, like, just glue a wig into all my hats. Maybe that'll get them going
I would
again.
actually love to
But
see
honestly, I don't want to get them going again, so I'm going to shave it again this weekend.
Shave.
But yeah, the boo is felt.
It is felt,
It is
yes.
felt by all. All right, the next one here is from BMore613. Brenna, spin that wheel.
Spin that wheel.
I can't promise you we're going to do it every show like we did late last season. I can't wait to text Charlie as soon as we're done and tell him we started Tankathon tonight.
Oh, he's going to be mad.
He's going to be like, really? Because he hates it. He's like, well, what's the point?
What's the point?
It doesn't
It's
do
illogical.
anything.
He
It's a
is
waste of
really-
time.
he-
And
he is the
so
stock to your
too,
Kirk.
so too are these final 29 games.
Bill, it is illogical to spin the wheel.
Yeah, it's not. It isn't. But you know what? Neither is loving this team the way they do, and letting them affect my mood the way they do. So we're gonna keep spinning that wheel. Damn it!
Spin that wheel.
All right, our pal, our Park. Grebenkin needs to be in the top 6 more. I agree. I want to see him get more opportunity, especially with Tyson Forster ain't coming back anytime soon, and even if he could come back late, the way this is going, what's the point of that? Just give him an off season to get totally healthy and get bigger and stronger even.
Or you can put him back with Matvei Michkov. Big body to give him some room.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Like
I'll try anything at this point because I really just have hated the offense over the past few weeks.
I don't know who it bumps down, and maybe we'll hate that too. But after tonight,
everything.
I want to get it. I want to get, like, you know what, Grebenkin in the top 9 until the break.
Yeah.
3 games. Let's just see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll
try anything. I don't care.
An extended look after he was their best player tonight.
Grebenkin was great tonight. Definitely want to see more of that.
Other than, I guess, Vladar. Made 6 saves on 6 shots. All right, next one here is from Local Drunk 69. Good to hear from you, pal. This is a poorly constructed roster, even though I like what Briere did. Tanking works. It sucks. Time to embrace it if we ever want a cup in the cap era. If they are able to, like, continue on this path and not have some meaningless 5-game winning streak at the end of the season, I actually like, even though it's very annoying in the moment, the way this season unfolded. You got them Dvorak, you got them Vladar, you got them Zegras. That improved the team, and you were hoping some young players would take steps. Some have, some haven't. And you see where they are. We're not going to openly tank, but maybe we'll just be bad. And for the first half of the season, it didn't appear to be going that way. But as we make our way through now January into February, clearly this is the way it's going. I actually appreciate the trajectory of this season. You gave the boys a chance. You said go. They've said all along, when's the rebuild over? When the players tell us. The players in the last 3 weeks have told us resoundingly, it's not over.
They are who we thought they were.
It's disappointing, but it's probably for the best.
Yeah.
All right, next one here is from AOB 52. Losing is good, actually. Sneaking into the playoffs to lose as a wild card is a fool's errand. Being a bottom 6 to 8 team at minimum would be great. In principle, like in general, yes. I agree with that sentiment in general. If you're trying to gain experience and you're trying to see where the team is, and let us not forget, a few weeks ago, 2nd or 3rd in the division was very much on the table. It wouldn't be sneaking in. It would be, I don't know, the Pittsburgh Penguins, who aren't very good. It would be the Islanders, who also aren't very good. Like, your path to a 2nd round even, and maybe you get lucky, you go to 7 in the 2nd round and score a fluke goal and move on to a conference final. Like, that's the type of experience that they could have gained. Now, the way this is going, if they hang around 500 for the final 29 games, that is bad.
Yeah.
Like, that is absolutely bad.
Like, if you're going to lose. Like,
Yeah.
lose a bunch. But don't do this, like, middle of the road thing. Like, just, maybe just some guys get strategically scratched down the, who's to say? Maybe Sam Ersson gets a lot of starts. Maybe Kolosov gets some.
That's the, like, I don't want Vladar to get hurt, especially now, because, like, he's going to the Olympics and he's been one of the bright spots, even in this little lull they're going through. But
2 amazing saves.
like, it's almost like if one guy had to miss time, it's like, you know how we could really ensure we get well into the top 10? If Ersson and Kolosov are the goalies again.
Yeah.
Like, Vladar
What a 1-2 punch.
Vladar might keep this thing afloat too much, but even him, like, I don't know, if only TK can score goals, like, it's going to be really hard to win with him unless he averages 3 goals a game.
Yeah.
Like, which is a lot.
And I want to say it's not going to be like this for the rest of the season, but I don't know that. So, yeah.
I just, if anything, I want Zegras, like, now, I hope, if I had to choose, I would choose Zegras gets going over Michkov. Because Mish has so much more runway for his development. I really don't want Zegras to be whatever the middle of his first half and what the second half is shaping up to be. I want it to be 75, 80% of the first half. Because that's like, okay, we found
diamond in the rough.
25-goal, 75-point winger. And while we need a center, you need those guys too. You need someone to score regardless of position.
And he was so dynamic in that first half. He was just such a game changer for this team. The attitude I thought he brought just a lot of swagger to this team, which they need desperately more of. He brought a lot of great qualities and that creativity. I don't know what the heck's gone on the past few weeks, but I want the old one back, and I would love to see it.
You know what's going to be funny? When they win the lottery, when they get the first pick, and it's like, well, McKenna's a winger, and everyone wants a center. There are none.
I'm increasingly hearing McKenna is not the number one.
Oh, no, I want the defenseman.
Yeah.
Just because I love defensemen. That's my thing.
And
All right,
that's
and with
something
that,
they need.
we're headed to overtime. Go to allphly.com to finish up the show, which is like one more super chat. All right, the last one here from Michael Grunstrom. I wonder. 0-3 in the bald Bill era. Please get a wig. Maybe I'll wear a wig in the dunk tank.
I mean, that sounds counterproductive for keeping your hair.
I know. I am working on...
No, I want the Wayne's World wig now. You've told me about it. I want it to happen.
In my 2 previous appearances in the dunk tank, and then I promise I can let you go home. In my 2 previous appearances in the dunk tank, I wore my orange tuxedo that I wore to my senior prom.
Just like Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, that got destroyed. Yeah, my buddy wore the blue one. It was hilarious.
Fantastic.
And then the one a couple of years ago that was on St. Patty's Day, I wore this Clover suit that I got at like a costume shop. And that also got the pants ripped. Charlie had to come up to the thing 5 minutes early because I was like, this is a family thing and I'm sitting here in my underwear, bud. Like, we got to go. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to go with sitting there in the dunk tank, but I got a couple days to come up with something.
I think you'll come up with something.
And that is it. And that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers postgame presented by Bet365. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for hanging out. If you haven't already, hit that like button. We're over 100, which I appreciate, but let's bump that up. The like button is a protest against what we saw over the last 12 games. Make sure you follow us right here on the YouTube page. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers and follow the podcast wherever you get those. Check out Flyperbole.
Tomorrow.
Steve does a great job, as does everyone at Broad Street Hockey. That's it for us. I'm Bill Matz. That's Steve Jaco. Thanks as always to Brenna. Be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.